So it is in my experience that whether you're doing your billing automatically, very efficiently, using all the automations, or you're still doing things manually by paper, whatever, because there are actually people who are still doing things manually and by paper. But either way, there is a key to medical billing, and that is what we're going to talk about today. This key is something that whether you are the most brilliant medical biller or you are just starting out, this will be able to help you in being successful as a medical biller. So keep watching. My name is Tamika. I'm a certified professional biller and a certified professional practice manager. Today we're going to be discussing, I believe it is part 3 of my Learning from My Mistakes series, or part 4, either one. But check that playlist out because I have it in a playlist. And I'm just going through some things that I have experienced, learned, and just figured out during my journey as a medical biller. So today we're going to be talking about the key to being a good medical biller or a great medical biller is organization. Now, organization may sound very simple, and it says, well, what does being organized have to do with being a biller? Shouldn't I know how to do billing? Shouldn't I go to class? Like, there are a lot of questions that you might have. And I agree. You can't be a great medical biller or a good medical biller if you don't know how to bill. So there obviously is a foundation of knowing medical billing, knowing the principles and the theories and all the things about medical billing. But after you have gotten over that hump of the foundations of medical billing, being organized is the top number 1 skill that you need to have. And why is that, you might ask? Because things are sometimes very repetitive in medical billing. It just depends on what your duties are. And to be honest with you, let me say things are very repetitive. In medical billing, you don't do something one time. It is a continuous process of doing things over and over again. So let me give you an example or give you a little bit of my story. I have been a biller for a while, and sometimes you can get comfortable. Sometimes you feel like, okay, well, I know how to bill. I know I've been doing, if you're in a specific specialty, I know how to do this specialty, so I'm good. And then as time goes on and you get a little comfortable, you can start falling behind. And you probably will wonder to yourself, well, I know I've been doing mental health billing for years, so I'm cool with that. I'm straight. I can just, slack off here, slack off there, and I can get it done. But then you start to notice that, timely filing is happening. You're missing out on calling patients when you were supposed to. Like, you're missing out on posting payments. You're backed up. Like, all type of things are happening, and you're trying to figure out why. And that is because you are not organized, or you slack on your organization. So like I was saying, for me, that has happened to me. And I had to pull myself up and say, okay, Tamika, you know what to do. You know that you know what to do, but you're not doing it. And being organized is a skill, and it's an action. It's something that you need to do to continuously do. So what does it mean to be organized? Now, when I think about organization, sometimes the first thing that comes to mind, or if you're speaking to somebody and you say, oh, wow, you're organized, you think about the appearance and how something looks. So you might come into somebody's home and their living room is nice and tidy and, neat and clean, and there's nothing here, and, you just see the furniture and the pictures on the wall and everything looks beautiful. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person is organized. They could have thrown all of their junk, all of their papers, all of their stuff in the closet, underneath the couch, in their bedroom, in another room when you came over to their house. So it may appear that they're organized, but they're really not organized. And as an example, in me working as a biller, I have gone to work at a particular job, and the person's coming and they're showing me around, showing me what to do, whatever, and they start opening up drawers. And they start pulling papers from here and there, and they'll open up this folder and there's just papers in there. or they'll go on the computer and they're searching for documents and it's taken 10, 15, 20 minutes to find a document. And where you would think that on the outside they're organized, really and truly, they are not organized. Because organization is just not a look, an appearance, something that makes you appear to be put together. When you are organized, it helps you to perform the actions that you need to effectively and hopefully efficiently. If you believe that you're an organized person and I come into your office and ask you for a piece of paper or information for a patient and you can't find it, or it takes you, I'll get back to you in 2 days, I'll get back to you in a week, to find something that you should be able to find pretty easily, then you need to work on your organization skills. And why is being organized important, whether you are a 9-to-5 biller or a full-time biller, or you have a business and you do this as a business owner? It is important either way. Doesn't matter if you're new, if you're established, whatever the situation is, because again, like I said, you will always have to continuously build. This is something that is not a one-time thing. You can't say, well, here's a set of claims that I sent out, or, I sent out this file, that's a set of claims, and this is the one file that I'm gonna have. So I know this one file is here. If somebody asks me about it, I can show them. This is a continuous process. Billing is a continuous process. And hopefully it's a continuous process, because if it's not, then the provider that you're working for is not getting paid, don't have any patients. So it would be bad. That's not what you want. So billing is a continuous process. So it's important to have organization, whether you are doing it for somebody or doing it for yourself. Now let's hop into how you can ensure organization as a biller. So I have 4 points that I think will kind of hit on everything that you would need in a broad basis, but of course it goes deeper. But I have 4 tips or items that I believe that you can hit on that can help ensure that you'll be organized. And the first one is having a routine. And when I talk about a routine, I'm talking about processes and procedures. This is my first tip, because I feel like this is the most important. Your processes is your what, your procedures are your how. So I'm going to go through a quick example stating, well, what do I mean by that? So let's say you're starting off the first process of billing, which would be claim submission. Now, again, this is for whether it is electronic or paper or whatever the situation is, but we're just going to go through a sample example. So let's say you're sending off a claim submission. You may have to, number 1, collect super bills. That may be your first procedure in the process of claim submission. So you might need to collect the super bills, or pull a report to show the claims that need to go out. Some procedure that may need to go. So you might need to do that. Then you may need to inspect the data entry. So if you are submitting the claims from a super bill, somebody might have put in the information from the super bill. So now it is your responsibility to inspect the data, make sure things are right and complete and put in the right boxes for the claim. Then you would scrub the claim. Now you might scrub the claim manually, or you might scrub the claim through a system, through your practice management system. So however that works, you might do that. Then there is sending the claim out. So you might send it out, you might be attached to a clearinghouse, and so you have to upload your file, or you maybe have to send them one by one individually, but you send your electronic claims through your clearinghouse. Then the last thing you might have to do is print your claims. There may be some claims that you can't send electronically. Maybe the insurance payer the payer is a lot smaller, so they only accept paper claims or faxed or whatever. So you might have to print that, fax it, mail it, do whatever. So that was a process of claim submission. And then there was the procedure of what the steps were for you to do this. Now, Of course, for procedures, you will go deeper. You might have to show how you do certain things. So when I go in and I scrub a claim, what are the steps that I have to do? So that goes deeper as far as like your SOPs and stuff. But basically, your routine will tell you how you need to do something. So the process is how, and the procedures is what, the actual steps. So after having your routine in place, now you need to have a plan. You need to schedule when you're going to be doing each of these routines. Again, in medical billing, these routines or these processes that you need to do, they are repetitive. They're not just going to be done once. So you need to have a set time intervals that you're going to do these processes. So for example, let's use the same claim submission example. We're going to schedule that we do our claim submissions every day. We do them every day. We do them in the mornings, and we do them from 10 to 11. So we know that this is what we're going to do every single day. So imagine we decide that we're just going to do claim submission whenever we want to do it. We remember that we had to do it today and it's Monday, but then we have a whole lot of other things that we need to do. So then we don't do it again until next week, Tuesday. And that is when things start to go haywire, timely filing and all those other things start to happen. So when we have a plan, when we schedule it, we know automatically every day we're going to send out claims. Now, let's say for some reason today you don't have any claims to send out. Yesterday was a holiday, so today we don't have any claims to send out. It's still good to have it scheduled and planned, because if today I come in, I don't have any claims to send out, then I can do something else. I can fill that spot. But I know that normally at this time on this day, I do this. And so I don't forget anything. I don't miss anything. It is very, very important because we have so many things going on in our brains and it's easy to miss stuff. So could you imagine missing sending out claims for a whole, a long time, your boss coming up to you asking you why, and you don't really have a good reason, because it's not that you didn't know that you had to do it. It's not that you don't know how to do it. You just forgot about it. You was busy doing other things. You would feel really bad. So don't let your brain work so hard. Just know to yourself, after you set that routine, have a plan, schedule it in your planner or wherever you schedule your information at, that every day I'm going to do such and such, or every month I'm going to do such and such. On the 31st, I'll do this. On the 15th, I'll do this. So you don't have to think about it after the fact. You know what you have to do and you just continuously do it. And the next tip is to document. Documenting provides information and evidence. So if you've been in this business for any amount of time, you know that if it's not documented, it did not happen. That's what I learned the first day that I started to work in billing. If it's not documented, it did not happen. So whether you are documenting on paper, in the system, wherever, get into the habit of documenting. This can help you get organized, because when it's time to go back, which is my fourth tip, that you'll be able to know what was done, recollect what was done, and be able to use it in time of need, whether it's to defend yourself in court or wherever. You need to be able to document. So documenting something, and not documenting something, documenting everything that you do is very helpful and beneficial in being organized and feeling that you know what was done, because you're dealing with a lot of things throughout the day. Sometimes you feel that I will remember this, and we use our brain to try and remember so many things, but it's hard to do that. But if you document what you have and, make sure you have timestamps and who did it, initial it, and just make sure it's clear and concise what was done, then that will keep you on the organized track. And number 4, like I mentioned, is systems. So the system being how you can retrieve the information. Again, let's imagine if I document different ways all the time. So if I'm speaking to a patient and today I document on a sticky note, and I'm speaking to another patient and tomorrow I document in this book, and then the other day I document in the computer, then when it's time to find out or retrieve this information, I don't know where to look. I'm looking on sticky pads and on my notebook, and don't think that I'm, coming down on you, because I was there at a point in time. I love sticky pads. If you've been in my channel at any time, you know that I do. So I love sticky pads. So I used to be sticky here and sticky there, and it was a mess and crazy. But a part of being organized is being able to retrieve, to get that information or get those documents or get whatever when you need it. And in order to be able to do that, you need to have a system put in place. So again, if I decide now, well, when I speak to patients, my system to documenting that information is I'm going to put it in a note section in their chart, if it's a physical chart, or in their chart in the system, and that is how I'm going to find it. So I know that any patient that I have spoken to, I can go to this particular spot, and if I don't find it there, that means that I did not speak to them, or I didn't speak to the payer, or whatever the situation is. I need to make sure I have a system in place so I can be organized. Try to make sure that there's a system, and there's a system that you remember and can be able to retrieve that information. And if you're still not convinced that being organized is a skill that you need to work on, improve, make sure that you have top one, A1 on point, then let me give you 3 benefits of being organized. The first benefit is that you won't miss out on things. I know for me, being the person I am, wanting to make sure I do things right, when I miss something, when I realize that I missed sending out a claim, or I missed following up on a denial, and so timely filing has passed and I can't get paid, or I miss something, it really bugs me. So I don't want to miss anything. I want to be on top of things. I want to know that I'm on it. So that is a benefit of being organized, making sure that you don't miss anything, because you have a system and you have processes and procedures in place to make sure that you will be up on it. And so in turn, number 2, it reduces your stress. It reduces pressure on you. I know we may have all been at a point where our boss asks us for something, or I don't know, we're talking to a patient and they ask us about something and we're like scrambling, like, oh my God, I don't know. Did I do that? Did I not do that? I can't figure it out. Like you're stressed. And we have too much stresses in our lives, which we shouldn't be letting things stress us out. But we do. We have too much stresses in our life that we don't need to add on another thing. And especially if this is your job, this is your profession, and every day you're doing it and you're being stressed out because you don't know where things are, they're disorganized, you just feel really stressed out. A benefit of organization is reducing your stress and making sure that you're able to just perform your job without being stressed. And last is that it helps you maintain the revenue for your employer, which is, obviously what we're here to do. Again, you may start off strong, you may start off doing A, B, C, this, that, and the third, but then you fall behind because you don't have any organizations or any systems put in place. Then your provider starts to be affected by that because now you're not organized, you're not sending out claims or posting payments or following up on rejections and denials, and they're losing out on money. And the job of a medical biller is to maximize and maintain the revenues for the provider. Hope you got something from this video, and remember that medical billing is more than submitting claims. I'll see you in the next video.